if it's good, bad, or whatever, just enjoy what you do, and that's all it is. And 1% better every day. That's all that matters.
So he wrote in that book, enjoy every note you play. That's correct?
Yeah, that's it.
And he, I want to ask his family. This is like bittersweet, but he'd been working for the last 10 years on a book called Owning Now. That was the title of the book, and you can kind of get the concept from that. I like that. Owning now, own your now. So that's what you can feel, that spirit in that quote there. Enjoy every note you play. There's no tomorrow. There's only right now. And so I can hear that spirit in there, Dom. So that's outstanding. Now, even though he had prostate cancer, I believe, in the last 3 years of his life, and you got
no, it was pancreatic
pancreatic cancer.
cancer.
That's right.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no one gets out from that, unfortunately. But how much did he laugh in the time that you spent with him?
Every session, he was laughing. It was like, you can tell the last one was a lot heavier because it was more of a one-on-one, and he gave me some really cool advice. Someday I will share it. I'm still having a hard time watching the whole thing right now, but you can see it's going like this. So he's super happy, and then he gets emotional, and then gets back up. But he laughed even though he knew what was coming. And we had like every session we would talk, and even though I didn't have the sticks, I didn't even hit the pad once. It was a great lesson in, one, humility, two, keep your spirit up,
right,
and just have fun. Life is fun. You can actually just go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Whatever's thrown in your way, just enjoy it.
Exactly. So let's like start today's session off with that spirit of just be in the now and freaking laugh and have fun. You know, Dom used to make a lot of jokes about, hey, we're freaking hitting stuff. We're hitting metal and plastic. This is kind of nuts. Let's keep our sense of humor and not get too like serious. You know, this is like, we're freaking hitting stuff, man. We're all a little crazy. Like, everybody is here from around the world.
Like a bunch of little kids.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, I tap into everybody. I just was with two, you know, one person joined from Croatia, person joined from Singapore. Andrew's here from Germany. And I go to the beginning with people. It's like, you don't choose the drums choose you. And I'm like, what was that moment? That was the spark at the very beginning. And we call that your mighty why. Your mighty why, right? Like, what was that when you were little? It's always when you're a little kid or, you know, teenager maybe, but like, what was that spark? And I'm sure everybody here knows it, right? So Clark, I love what you just said there. We never want to lose that little kid thing, you know.
Like when I was 10 years old, building my own drum set.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I did the same thing. I used phone books. Anybody know what a phone book is? Phone books make really good drums, by the way. I had chairs and stuff, but yeah, I did the same thing. My dad, by the way, my dad bought me a hi-hat only, which isn't that weird? Like a legit real cymbals, and then I had to build all the other stuff. That's strange, but anyway.
It is, but, you know, a hi-hat is a really, really cool tool.
Yeah, that's what I was like, oh, I only got this, and the rest is phone books and stuff. But it's that. Yeah, and it's just that we got to be little kids here. I was just sharing something yesterday with something when I was studying tabla in India, and it's old school lessons. You know, you have the master on tabla and all the students surrounding him, and it was like an adults class, and he said, he was like scolding us, and he said, my youth group is like, what, you know, I have a group that's kids, and he's like, they have fun not knowing something. When they don't know something, they still can have fun. He's like, you adults, when you don't know something, you get all serious and down on yourselves. You start the negative self-talk. He's like, I want you to be more like kids. So Clark, that's really cool. You brought that up today. So everybody put your hands up. We're going to have fun today. We're going to drum. Everybody got their sticks. Yeah, W. James is here. Sean is here. Sean, it's like looking in a freaking mirror, dude.
I know.
Ball drummers rock, Clark. I'm also calling you out. Tom, I'm calling you out. Jono, I'm kind of
look at all
calling you
those
out.
fuzz. Look at all this fuzz on the side of my head, man.
Yeah, get rid of it, dude. So we're going to have fun. And part of what the power of what we're going to do today, and that is so awesome with this community, is crowdsourced wisdom. This is not a negative community. This is a community that taps into the power of positive thinking, which is a big part of it. Yeah, man. And a big part of what Dom Famularo embodied through action. And part of this is also taking action. So Dom, that's challenging with that band part, and we can tap into the crowdsourced wisdom of everybody here. And as I said, part of it is just, and I don't need to tell you this, you really live this, but it's like the past is dead. Let's live to the future, you know, and to me, I say, okay, next. And I just want to have Jono, if you could just comment really quick, because Jono went through something similar with this, because, you know, bands, you're getting into like relationships and like connecting with people. And it's like having 5 wives or husbands almost like in one, you know. How does like any band do it really? It's like, you know, 4 or 5 people and they all got to get along, and like sometimes different goals and stuff. And yeah, sometimes it's like you get that call and it's like, yeah, it's every, like literally every drummer has felt that. And I know Jono went through something similar kind of recently. You don't have to go into detail, but just, do you have any just quick advice for Dom?
Good question.
That we could all learn from.
I don't know that there's much else to say other than what you've already said, Chris, and that is next.
Yeah.
You know,
one word.
you know, I think there's a danger in all of us. We get invested in this emotionally especially when we get into a band, and it's just like being in a relationship, whether, you know, whatever relationship that might be. And when it doesn't work out, there's some self-reflection. But I think the overall thing in a musical situation is to next, for sure. But also, I think for me, not taking it personally. Like, this isn't personal. Things don't work out in a band for many reasons, but it's not personal. It's different tastes in music, different direction. I think I think really what happened for me at the end of the day, when I really had a chance to think about it, was a difference of ambition. You know, that group wanted to do one thing and wanted to go about it in one way, and I didn't agree with that direction. And but again, it's not personal. So Dom, like, you're on the right path, dude. It's not personal, man. It's just how it goes. So that's about all I can tell you. Look what happened with what's his name with Slipknot. Who knows exactly what was going on there? It's behind closed door things. But I think at the end of the day, it's a business decision. It's not personal.
Well said.
Yeah.
And thank you for that, Jono. And I don't, as you said, I don't take it personally. We're not at the same spot. I was not looking for, well, maybe later on that would have been what I was looking for, but right now I know that's not really what I would like to do or where I would like to be. So yeah, you're right. It's nothing personal, as Chris and as you guys said. Next, well, first, most important thing is to learn lessons out of this. What happened? What have I done? What I didn't do? What I can do better? And then let's work on that and move on.
I think that's exactly right, and it's you know, this is a growth thing, right? So you're out, it pushes you outside your comfort zone, as Chris has preached so many times and so accurately said that. And you know, this is a growth piece. It might not feel like it when you're on the phone with them or sending the emails, and there's a bit of some hard feelings there maybe, I don't know your situation exactly, but at the end of the day, this is growth and you know, like, and also like Chris kind of says in a way, and it's not a reflection, again, it's not personal, but embrace that. And you're right, that the lessons learned from that are invaluable. You learn more from that than you do from sitting in your room and wishing you were in a band and not putting yourself out there to possibly be you know, asked to leave. You learn way more from that. So
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%. That is the experience is a lesson in itself.
Have you experienced that at
absolutely.
all, Sean? Like going through something like that, and where you learned?
I've had a few bands where, and I've been in band situations where very much like a relationship, it was toxic. And then the music became toxic, and then
that's right.
and then that flows over into all other aspects of my life, and I've had to make the decision to leave a band. I've had bands make the decision to leave me. And both were very positive experiences in the end. There's always a different experience for you out there that was meant to continue your path, your vision. You know, there's another group of musicians, or sometimes it's just taking that time alone after leaving a band with the you know, like you were saying, there's things you're going to learn from this, and things you can improve on, things you can change, and that's so important to just keep on trucking, keep on. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not quitting. I'm not
For
quitting.
Sharon, Sean.
I'm no quitter. I'm playing.
No.
I got the calling. I'm just keeping going. It's just So.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And who can we control? We can only control us. You can't control all that stuff on the outside. I lost one gig. It was heartbreaking. It was like this big gig. I auditioned for it. The audition was cool. I'm like, wow, that actually went pretty good, and I think I got it, and didn't get it. And I was like, oh, like, and your mind goes to the negative, right? Like, I should have practiced more, but I was prepared, but maybe it's because I suck, and you know, you go into the negative. And it turned out to be, yeah, exactly. Like all this, like, you compare yourself to other people. Do you know why the person got the gig? Because they had a mohawk. I can't help in that area. You know what I'm talking about, Sean. Like, I'm not kidding. I heard that. Like,
that one, buddy.
Right? What am I gonna do? Wear a freaking wig, like a mohawk? No, that's not me. And I found out that like 2-3 months later, it's like, oh yeah, the guy just had a kind of look, and here's the guy they picked, and he had like a mohawk, and it's like, oh, and that it's like, okay, you know, they didn't want a bald drummer. Like, it's like an image thing. That's who I am, man. You know, right, next, and you just go to the next thing.
Hey, Chris, you mentioned we can only control us. I took a seminar on how to deal with difficult people. And
you have
3 choices: change, cope, and leave. It's you can change to fit in with them. You can cope with the differences, or you can get out. Those are the only 3 choices you have.
That's all. See, this is the crowdsourced wisdom. I never even knew that, and I have not taken that course. I want to deal with the difficult people in my life. So that's I like that. Change, cope, leave. That's really cool, Tom. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's outstanding. And yeah, we can only control us. As I put in the LTR drumming book, I call it MIQ, most important questions, because questions are so important, like the right questions to ask. So a bad question to ask would be, why do I suck so much? Why does this always happen? Your brain will give you an answer, like, because you're an idiot, you know, right? Because you should have practiced more, and you just be stuck in this negative self-talk. So the 2 questions to ask: okay, I just lost my gig. I got the phone call. and that really sucks. So first question is, okay, what did I do right in all this? Like what was good about all this? So sometimes it's like what Sean said, okay, I'm not in a toxic situation anymore. I know Jono, okay, this is actually good. It's like a weight off your shoulders. What's good? Well, I was in a band in the first place, and wow, I got to do what I did. Wow, I do some double bass. What's that? Oh, I thought I cut someone off in there. That's you can always find something good about it. So Dom, just really quick, like what was good about it? Just off the top of your head, like wow, maybe my speed improved, or maybe it challenged me, or like what was good about?
Mostly listening and trying to get in sync with other people instead of a playback. It's that group communication. Let's say that actually that I kind of got a little bit more. Not enough in my opinion, and I don't think you get enough of this, but that's one of the things. And just as you said, just the fact that I got to get out there and play with other people, that was just
there you go.
Was the number one step.
That, as we say, that's being in the arena.
Mm-hmm. That was my second time playing in front of people.
Yeah, like get out of, if that's your goal, then like get with humans in the room. You know, get out of here if that's your goal.
And at the end of the day, maybe the guys didn't like it, but the people in front liked it. Like there was a whole bunch of people dancing, and everybody was super happy.
Awesome.
So
yes.
So yeah, like it was not bad. Yeah, I made some mistakes. I know where my mistakes were. I know exactly what I did, but people in front didn't really notice it. They just enjoyed their time and they had a good time. So everything else is just okay, guys. Like it didn't work with you. It didn't work with you. So yeah, that's the positive. People dancing. That's what I want to do. I want to see people dancing while I play.
I love that.
Love that. That's so cool. That's one of the greatest. That's one of my greatest joys of playing is people dancing. Like when people get up and dance and have fun and have a good time. Like that's everything to me. That's like winning the lottery every moment. Like it's just That's so cool. And then and I do the same thing. I come home after a gig and it's like, oh man, I did this wrong, you did that wrong. You know exactly what you did wrong, or where you made a mistake, or where you lacked, or where you fell off. But that's when you come home and you're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna spend 10 minutes practicing that one fill or that one movement, or just 20 minutes just staying perfectly in time on that groove and perfecting the craft, right? And that's like that's the whole thing to going out and playing live, is you come home, you're like, oh man, I sucked in that part, and then you work on that part, and that's how we get better, man. That's like continually every day. That's how it works for me, for sure.
Outstanding, Sean. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I love you said it's like winning the lottery every day. That's amazing. Just before I was
I'll tell you guys the story of my last gig. My last gig was interrupted by a fire alarm.
Oh no!
we were playing away and in our big church, and then the fire alarm goes off. We have to go outside for 20 minutes.
Was it at least a real fire?
No.
Oh, it's like, come on, at least give me a real.
The popcorn machine was smoking up.
That's not a cool fire at all.
No.
Man,
so
a popcorn machine.
We came back and we aced it even more.
Nice. Hey, that's under the list of I cannot control that. But that impression, that's excellent. And right before I was blessed to be hanging out with this awesome group of drummers, I was with this drummer from Maine. His name's Chris as well. And he was sharing this story. He was in the Ireland Museum of Music, which I didn't even know existed, but it's like a real thing, and they can give you a guided tour. And the guide said, does anybody play music here? And he goes, yeah, I'm a drummer. But he plays left-handed. So the kit was not set up right-handed. But the guide said, don't worry, I'm gonna change the kit to lefty. You can come up and play. And the guy's like, oh my gosh, like you're putting me on the spot. And his 19-year-old daughter was there. Her name's Sally, and she had never seen her dad play. And so he's like all nervous, and he's describing this, and he went up there. So just imagine being at the Ireland Museum of Music, and there's like a big crowd, and there's instruments there, and the guide goes, oh, let me make it set up for a lefty. It's like, okay. And he played, and he said he had this magical moment of like the impression it made on his daughter and the other people there. And it was kind of like they were moving a little bit. I don't know if they were dancing, but that same thing, like that impression we make on others through drumming is absolutely magical. As you said, Sean, it's like winning the lottery every day. And when we can actually make people dance and change lives, you know, I've had people come up to me like, wow, like that set made my day. You know, I was having a dark day and that was like a ray of light. And drumming is that for us. And I know Karima, like that was one of your big goals when we met. Like you wanted to make an impression. I remember you said something like, when I'm in the room, like I want people to look at me and go like, wow, like I feel that enthusiasm and joy and passion for drumming.
Yeah.
Is that right? And the people dancing, that's one of your mighty whys, right?
Yes, it is. And actually, about a month ago, I had a party here and I got up on the drums and played, and my friends have really seen me, like, you know, but it was, and then they started talking and kind of doing their own thing. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, at least I did it, you know?
Yeah. That's fantastic. And that's one of the magic things we do, like drumming is self-expression. So that's so cool. You mentioned that, and that's a big part of like our mighty why. So that's fantastic. So let's go through some quick wins we can do for setting up our year and just making this an amazing year, and also tapping into, you know, this awesome wisdom that we have around us. So if you look at this LTR drumming method here, this is pretty much what, you know, when I practice every day, I'm working on these areas, and you can rate yourself, like, you know, your strengths and your weaknesses, and just how these all have to tie together to make things click. So really it starts with the big four. So ethos, that's like your mighty why, bringing your personal voice out through drumming, like bringing your personal fingerprint out on the drums. Flow would be like technique. That's everything from footwork to breathing to just going into flow, where like the overthinking inner critic starts to shut down, that negative self-talk, as we talked about, and asking the right questions so we can get a lot of joy out of this. And the rhythm, that's basically being able to play any idea you have in your head, in your heart, like instantly, just to have total freedom to be able to play any idea that you have and anything you hear your favorite drummers doing. That's rhythm. And of course, practice is like the daily routines you have to get there, which I call the art of learning. Like, what are you doing daily to practice and get you those 1% wins? And this can be a big challenge, and we're all busy, and we all have, you know, I had this phrase I put in the book, like, life doesn't want you to drum. The popcorn machine is gonna malfunction, and it's gonna be like right before, I don't know if you noticed, I came on here at 12:02. That's because we had a plumbing leak. Like, there's dripping coming out of the ceiling in my studio. I'm like, holy crap. And it was like 11:56. I'm like, okay, let me go deal with that and at least get it contained. And I'm gonna fix it later. But it's like, okay, there's some, you know, man, this leak does not want me to drum with you awesome drummers today. But it's like always something that could be an excuse. You know, can you imagine if I emailed everybody today, guys, I got a leak, can't make it. We don't let that stop us. And that's like the daily practice, is just showing up and staying in the arena. And these things lead to focus, confidence, and self-expression. And that's what you see in the middle there. And all these things kind of tie together. So right now, just like rate yourself in all these areas, and even start with the good. Like, okay, my technique is really good, or, you know, I'm really like Dom, you were saying you're on a practice, you're like a practice monster right now. So like you're probably scoring like a 9 out of 10 in practicing. But just even think how you'd rate yourself out of 1 to 10 in, like, let's say Ethos first. So even put some numbers in the chat. So 1 would be like, I barely can find any inspiration, motivation to do this. I'm seriously thinking of quitting. That'd be a 1. 10 is like, I have never been more fired up to drum in my life. So just put some numbers in the chat right now in terms of Ethos.
Ethos, I'm definitely at a 9, 9.5.
Nice, 9.5. Hey, Dom's at a 9. Come on, guys, throw some numbers in the chat. Anybody at like a 1 or a 2? Nice, got 7 and 8. Anybody? Hey, 11. Heck yeah, man. By the way, I had this student Rylan, and he's in Berkeley right now. But this was during COVID, and he goes to me, he's like, Chris, I'm really struggling to get inspired and motivated right now. And that would be the Ethos part. So what we we went to the mighty why, and I said, Rylan, like it's okay if you want to quit this, man. Like maybe drumming, maybe you've reached the end of drumming. Like it's something you really want to do. What's your mighty why? So we went to that first, and what we discovered was, yeah, okay. He's like, no, I still want to do this. I still feel the calling. And then it's like, okay, then we move to practice. Like, how can we get you inspired and motivated? But it's okay to go through those seasons of like, man, I'm just not inspired and motivated right now. Really, the thing to do is just to keep putting one foot in front of the other and just to keep going. Like just to show up to groups like these, listen to a new album, go see a band, just do something, reach out to don't isolate yourself. Don't lone wolf it. That's the worst thing you could do. I know Karima, before, I remember you said that was something you were struggling with a long time ago, just feeling kind of isolated, right?
I still am, actually. I feel.
Yeah, you put 5 for Ethos. Is that why, do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. You know what? It's really hard. But then when you were telling me Riley's story, then I'm like, oh, maybe it is a 5, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's okay not to be okay. And you go to that mighty why. You tap into you being a little kid and like why you got into this in the first place, and then you just go from there. And and just know like you're run down. I know you've been working your butt off. I know you. We have a relationship. Like I've known you for a year now, and man, like October to December, you've been, and actually summer too. You've been, as Dom Fambulero says, I don't burn the candle at both ends. I burn the middle too.
Yeah.
I light the middle.
Well,
it can burn you out sometimes.
it does, and I got to find a balance between work and my downtime, like my time to play. But sometimes I'm just so tired, I can't
Yeah,
I'm set,
I hear you, and that can be and that would move into practice, right? It's like it's not even time management, it's energy management.
Yeah.
Because I hear you, man. If I'm gonna practice, like I'm not creative past like 4 o'clock, unless I'm playing a show. It's like I need to do it earlier. I need to do it in the morning. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna maybe do some reps past 4 o'clock. It's energy management, not so much time management. So I hear you. We can help you with that.
I think the good thing about my job too is that I'm around music a lot.
Mhm.
It just, I'm a wedding planner and events planner, so there's always music at the parties, and I'm just find myself drumming away at, or like tapping my foot or
Fantastic.
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's keeping that inspiration going just in the tiniest of ways can make all the difference. And that's what got Rylan through. And instead of quitting, he's now at Berkeley, and now he's like probably overly inspired. If you're at Berkeley, it's like, show every night of the week, and you're just like, you got actually way too much stuff, right? So throw some numbers in the chat for flow. So flow as a 10 would be like, I get in the zone every time I play. I'm able to move around the kit with fluidity. Man, it just feels good in my body. Every year that goes by, I get better in terms of technique and body, how you move is how you groove. That's what we say here. So it's all about movement. Now, a 1 would be, I am stiff. My inner critic is, I overthink everything. I get cramps when I play. I feel like the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz. That would be like a 1.
Pre or post oil?
What's that, Tom? Say that again.
Pre or post oil, Tin Man?
Yeah, that's right. He rocked it at the end. That's true. He was like, whoa. He was in flow at the end. That's true. After the oil. Throw in some numbers in the chat.
I see a lot of 8s.
Yeah. Andrew, you're at a 6, even though I would say your technique is really good. It's more kind of the coordination stuff. I know you've just started, but is that why, Andrew? It's more like the blocks of the limbs, right? It's not the technique itself.
I think it's the flow and a little bit the effortless technique.
Yeah.
I'm stuck sometimes.
You're stuck? How do you mean exactly?
Sometimes I practice more with a pad and not with the bumps. And when I switch, then the flow comes slowly in. But to change the positions is a bit difficult. I play more technique and then on the pad before I go to the drums. It's a lot of time.
I hear you. I think you're on the right path with what you're doing. Sometimes just some time needs to pass to let everything kind of grow roots and sink in. So I hear you. I think you're on the right path with that. Tom, I think your technique is excellent. You'd say a 6. Is this like kind of a balance thing? Can you elaborate on that? Because I would have rated you maybe higher, but what do you think?
I have certain movements that are real easy for me, and other movements that are a little more difficult where I lose coordination a little bit and I can't quite go as quickly as I'd like. So I put it about a 6, and a few months ago I probably was about a 3. So,
Hey, that's a victory. Can you think of an example that's like a challenging movement around the kit?
The simplest one's going pop, 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 pop. That's difficult. I can go this way, no problem, but I start hitting rims and
I hear you, and we'll get some quick wins on that.
Yeah.
In a second.
I got to slow down a little bit more to go quicker.
There you go. Yeah, I mean that's a challenge. I mean, Kelly, we were just talking about that yesterday, like how it's like finding, you're doing the exercise, but like just slowing down. I have to remind myself that like every day. It's like an expression, like slow down to speed up. Like slow it down and then there it is, and then ironically you get, that then the speed will come after that. So that's great, Tom. When I go to the kit, let's come up with some exercises that would help with that. Okay, let's throw some with rhythm. So just throw some in the chat. What would you rate yourself with rhythm? So 10 would be like, man, every idea just comes out right when I need it. I hear something that someone, I hear what my favorite drummers do. I know what they're doing. I might not be able to do it, but I get it. Like my Indian, when I was in India studying tabla for 7 years and learning that, I remember my teacher said, he said, learning Indian rhythms is like having 10 eyes around your head. I thought that was so cool. He's like, because Indian rhythms are so developed, and it's the most highly developed rhythmic system in the world, I highly recommend studying Indian rhythms, and I work it into my system. But he's like, I can hear just any metal band, any jazz solo, any Buddy Rich thing, any kind of African drumming or whatever. And he's like, I might need to practice it and pick it apart. But he's like, I know what's going on. I understand rhythm. So that would be a 10. A 1 would be, I just don't know what I'm doing. I hear stuff, but I'm not sure what it is. I'm angry every time I play. I'm frustrated and angry every time I play. Throw some numbers in the chat. Nice. Yeah, Dom, so you put yeah, cool. So good numbers here.
Put a 4.
Yeah, why would you think it's a 4? Can you elaborate on that?
I'm still struggling to figure out what's happening,
Right.
to hear properly what's going on. And when it's time to actually, or I hear something in my head and put it on the kit, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. It doesn't come naturally yet. So, like, let's say 6 months ago, as somebody said earlier, I would have been at 2. Now I'm getting at 4. I think like that's my biggest. I think that's the biggest part of my playing. That on those four things you got there, I think it's the one that I needs the most improvement, the most work on.
Fantastic.
So that's one.
I like that every number is rising and not going down. That's really good. Everybody here said, man, or Tom, you're like, I used to be a 3, now I'm a 6. So, and Dom, you said I'm a 2, now I'm a 4. This is good. Nobody is saying, man, I was an 8, but now I'm a 6. So this is good. I like that everybody's at least rising. So Dom, we'll give you a couple quick wins today. Jono, you're 6. I don't know. Are you selling yourself short, or is that legit? What do you think?
No, because I'm looking at all of the elements within the rhythm. So there's grids, elements, singing, time, and creativity.
Right.
And I feel pretty good about grids, elements, and time. I'm working on my singing. I think that really brings a big dimension to a drummer. So
Yes.
One of my goals is to take some lessons this year in singing and harmony, because that adds a lot. And I'm used to playing covers. So I think I'm lacking in creativity and doing my own thing in a song. So the average of all of those elements, I feel like singing and creativity is bringing my number down. If it was just time, elements, and grids, it would be a higher number, but that's where I'm at.
Gotcha. And that I like, that's like a higher level. That's kind of what we do with the LTR Connect thing, is go deeper into the assessment so that's true. That's where you get more of a accurate score, Jono. I like that you said that, and we don't have time today to go into each separate area, but that's true. And even for me, I could say, yeah, my rhythm's great, and then you go, okay, let's go this one, grids, this one, elements, singing. And singing can be what you're saying, Jono, which is great, but singing here refers to like takadimi takitata takitata, or
yeah, that's
doom ta doom duga 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 duga. But it could be both. It's like the voice is the fifth limb.
Right. And so you're right. I agree with you. And not long ago, it might have been a Centurion session, I don't remember, but you were talking about breaking it down into the Indian vocabulary.
Yes.
And I was working on some stuff with my feet, and being able to verbalize it through that method really helped me develop the pattern I was trying to do with my feet. So when I say singing, I'm talking about actually singing, but also like verbalizing what I'm trying to do on the drums too. So,
well, if you're going to hear me sing like Stevie Wonder, I would rate myself at like a -10. So no one wants to hear that at all. So I'm talking I'm gonna go doom ta. I'm not gonna sing any Lady Gaga, or I'd be in the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would bring my average down.
I think singing also, like if I've heard other drummers say a lot of they of course follow the bass, but in a band setting they really follow the singer and the vocals and the rhythm of the words.
Yeah, it's for
So I
sure.
think
Very good point.
I think understanding. I'm not going to ever be an opera singer like that, but I think understanding more about singing
Yes.
will make me a better drummer.
Ooh, you nailed. That's the takeaway line of the day, man. You nailed it.
Yeah.
It's and by the way, notice how these all work together. So if I go to breath work up here, like that's tied to singing, right? And you can. I remember Frank Sinatra studied Lester Young, who's a saxophone player, and he's like, I want to get his phrasing and breathing, you know, like saxophone is breathy.
Yeah.
Right, like the flute or a trumpet. You could get that also from trumpet, like that. You know what I mean? You gotta breathe here, and it's phrasing.
And like we talked about too, Chris. Like again, just it's back. The singing is like, do I really need to crash that cymbal right there when he's trying? When he's trying to, you know, again, making you a better drummer to fit the music. Versus, I want to put a crash cymbal there. Well, okay, but that might not be working with other elements of what's going on. So,
yeah. Oh, I've done that. I've been guilty of that. We call it in the book the 4 offenses of drummers, and one of them is not leaving any space and abusing your crash cymbal is a great way to. You know, drummers do this all the time. Oh, that's what I do. I hit crash cymbals. I drum. I hit crash. You know, it's like, don't do that.
If I can add a word or two in here, Chris, what really inspires me on drumming is the choir.
Right.
You know, it's only 6.
oh, we lost him.
Oh, you're cutting out, Clark. Oh no.
And the song.
Clark's just got a cloud going over his city right now. It'll pass in a second. Clark, but you can jump in when you're back. But Clark plays with a choir. So I think what he was saying was, man, what is that, like 100 singers or even if it's 30 singers, you're tapping, it's just such a force. And the voice and drums are the oldest instrument, right? They're totally related. So Clark, you can jump in when you're back, but I think we got what you were saying there. Excellent observation. Oh, he'll be back. And I don't know if you know Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Band. If you look closely at his kit, he's got a little screen that's like a teleprompter for lyrics. Isn't that cool? And it's right between his toms, and he can kind of see, just like a singer would. You know, it shows you the words, and it kind of the words kind of go down as the singer's singing them. And Carter sings a bit of background vocals, but he's trying to tap into the vocals there and to complement the singer. Oh, maybe I don't want to hit a crash there because of this phrasing. Steve Gadd, when he plays, he asks for a lyric sheet. That is pretty cool. Hey, I'm playing with Barbra Streisand. Can I see the lyrics? How many drummers do that? Hey, can I get a lyric sheet of what you're singing about? And the singer's going to love you, like, oh, sure, wow, you actually care. Oh, is this a sad song or versus a happy song? Maybe you don't want to hit a crash cymbal in a sad song. Crash cymbals are kind of happy, right? I think if I'm sad, I'm not going to hit crashes. I don't know about you. So this is great when we talk about this affecting your rhythm. Okay, last one, practice. This is where maybe a lot of drummers get destroyed here because it's like, wow, I got great ethos, I'm confident, I got great flow, I got great rhythm. By the way, one more thing about the singing thing, a great drummer to check out is Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He does not sing backgrounds or anything, but it's like the way he punctuates the syllables from Anthony Kiedis. All around the ba 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 da 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 ba da 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 da. You know, kind of rapping or singing, whatever he's doing. You can hear him like punch little syllables that he's doing, and Chad Smith is really listening to the singer, and he'll just like punch a little hi-hat with a word or something, and it's like, whoa, that guy's really listening. That's pretty cool. Clark, you're back. Did you I think we got the gist of what you said with the choir. Did you want to add anything else there? Sorry that the connection.
I don't know what happened, but one drummer that I know, one of the few drummers that I know, Paul DeLong, every time I listen to Brass Transit, he's playing a melody. He plays melody on his drums. I mean,
nice.
There's a steady beat for maybe 10 seconds, and then he's playing with the singers. It's just amazing.
Beautifully said, Max Roach. I know, Tom, you and I have talked many times about melodic drumming. Max Roach, you can sing all his parts. So that's a Max Roach solo that's like imprinted on my brain from a song called Jordu. But you can sing the whole solo. What's that, Tom?
Ari Harrington.
Yes. Ari Honig from New York. Yes, exactly. Takes that page. So I think, Jono, if you were to take singing lessons, which I took like, I suck at singing, but I took like, I think 3 singing lessons, like just to do it. And it does change your drumming. Like, you're right. I like what you said, Clark. Yeah. Paul DeLong from Toronto, great drummer, another bald drummer, fellow skinhead drummer. And he just plays melodically, and it comes from just appreciating singing. So now we're in the last one, practice. Man, this can kill drummers. It's like, I got everything, but my practice habits suck. Dom, you mentioned something yesterday just about being overwhelmed. I'm sharing this story in one of my Modern Drummer articles about how, or actually I think I told it yesterday, about how I got back from COSA, the percussion camp, and I was so freaking lit up and inspired. I remember making this practice schedule, and it was like, Monday is like, I'm going to go through the book, Gary Chester's book, The New Breed. I'm going to go through that. And Tuesday is Brazilian drumming. And Wednesday is stick control. Wednesday is technique. And it was like, oh my God, did I ever get frustrated? And I just went nowhere. I remember just getting nowhere. And I just didn't know about practice at all and how to do it. And it took me years to figure that out. I went through putting too much pressure on myself, to trying to take on, it's all the classic things, right? You try to take on too much, you put pressure on yourself. It's time management skills, energy management. And then what do you practice when you actually sit down to play? How do you gain momentum? Oh my gosh. I spent years doing the wrong stuff. So now I've finally gotten to a good place, but throw some numbers in about your practice. And I'm going to just guess this might, so Clark is 3. I'm going to guess these are going to be the lowest scores. I don't know. Maybe they'll be high. Yeah. Oh, Dom, you're going, I got 3 kids, Dom, so wait till you start having kids. Your score might go down.
Too late for that.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, and by the way, some of it, oh, really, Tom? So some of it is life seasons, by the way, and that's okay. Like when I remember, I had 3 kids like back to back. We had them like our kids now are like 3, 5, and 7. And it's still like, oh, you think you're going to practice? Oh, there's going to be an overflowing toilet, or there's going to be, a sick kid in the house. Or there's going to be, it's like.
I don't envy your wife having 3 kids back to back.
Oh, she did. She was like, where are these wives that I read about that like, oh, I'm just in bliss when I'm pregnant? She's like, I hate it. And I think that's more realistic. Like if if men had to bear children, it would suck, right?
We couldn't handle it, man.
No, man, exactly. So yeah, she did not like it. She's glad it's over. Yeah. Yeah, you're a 6. That's pretty good. I would rate low, but again, yeah. So we'll try to get everybody here some quick wins. Yeah, so some 4s. Tom, I would say you're pretty consistent. Can you explain 2.75, a very honest score? Can you elaborate on that, please?
By nature, but no, the big thing with me is time, because like right now, if I'm lucky, I have 3 hours a day where I'm not commuting to work or working.
Right.
So in 3 hours, I get to spend time with my wife, eat, shower, and do whatever other little things I have.
Yeah, exactly. You got to sleep, and you're not gonna. There's musts, right? Like I'm gonna have to eat at some time. I'm gonna have to sleep. I'm gonna have to have some downtime. I'm gonna have to connect with my wife. You're like, oh, there's like 7 minutes left over with that.
Yeah.
Some of it I think you're doing great on is like, commute time is like traffic university, I call it.
Yeah.
And I know you never waste that time. I know you. We've talked about this. Like you're listening to, like I turned Tom onto this box set. I recommend everybody get it, called the Engine Room. And the Engine Room is all on the early jazz drummers, and it goes back to like the 1940s, and it's so cool. So you're listening to like Art Blakey, to all these master drummers.
New Orleans, you listen to New Orleans, the very start of things, and it just kind of grew from there. And then you get the Chicago jazz and modern jazz and all of that. Yeah, I keep listening to the same CDs over and over again, just internalizing that music. And I'll tell you that New Orleans jazz is really interesting, because they didn't have a big drum set like this. It's clicking on the rims, it's on the snare, it's brushes, it's sticks, it's wood blocks, so it's pretty creative.
Exactly, and that can those just being really creative with practice time. And that's why conical, by the way, we mentioned in the rhythmic part, singing the rhythms. If I'm going to just keep time with my hand, so everybody do this with me. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. So anybody listening, I'm just going, clapping my hands, and then pinky finger, 4th finger, 3rd finger, 1. Or you could just even just clap your hands in time. And actually, this will bring us to something I wanted to show you today, so we can get a quick win on rhythm. So this will be our exercise for today. So probably you can see that. So this is the grids, and this is the elements in the building block. So Tom, like all that stuff you hear on those jazz masters doing, it's all right in front of you. Isn't that wild? It's like, so for anybody listening, we have just subdivisions of 4s and 3s, but just like archery, just to hit a certain target, we can play on our drums or even just speak it and try to make different rhythms out of this. So if I'm just going like takadimi, which is 4, takadimi, 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 we learn how to, and we're not going to do this today, but you can keep time with your hand and speak different rhythms over it. So this is something you can do, like, be sure you're safe, but you can do it when you drive. You can do this just walking anywhere, even for 3, while you're waiting for the water to boil for your tea or something. you can get a bit of practicing in. Takidimi, takita, takita, da, da, dingi natum, takita, da, takita, da, da, takita, da, da, dingi natum, takita, da, takita, da, da, takita, da, da, dingi natum, takita, da, 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 takita, da, da, dingi natum, da. So that's a cool little phrase in conical. How would that be on the drums? That could sound pretty cool if it were a groove. So that rhythm could translate to that. It could be, you could put it around the drums. Takita-da, takita-da, da, takita-da, da, ding, nothing. Could be a solo, could be a fill or something like that. So that's a way just to get that practicing in. And another way to sing these is, what if you were keeping time with your hand, but you were just to sing purely the rhythm that you're seeing? So if I look at like A, B, C, D, so A is on the first one, taka-dee-me, taka-dee-me, taka-dee-me. B is on the second one, taka-dee-me, taka-dee-me, taka-dee-me. C, the third one, is on the third of the beat, so taka-dee-me, taka-dee-me. And of course, D would be the fourth, taka-dee-me, taka-dee-me. So if I were to just keep time with my hand and just try to sing just those first four, that would sound like this. So obviously the first one, that's pretty easy. So ta, 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 ta. Next one, ta, 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 ta. Third one, ta, ta, ta. Fourth one, ta, 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 ta. And if I just pick even two randomly, so I'm gonna pick O and G to say OG.
Yeah.
A lot of OGs right here. So OG. So O is all of them. So taka-dee-me. And G would be taka-dee-me. So if I were to take that to the kit, say, so that would be like, so if I were to sing that like da 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 da. So everybody can try to, you can try this on your kit or try to tap it. Yeah, if you're just starting out, that might be just where you know, if I know there's some beginners listening in this group, you know, you might be just like, just start with that da 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 da, but see how it makes a groove, da 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 da. But going around the kit, just taking that simple phrase and like, could I make a solo and could I create something? So Jono, this guy gets into creativity. Could you just take that phrase and create something cool with just that? So let me see what I could come up with. So kind of and I had some urges there to like, you know, go into some different phrases there, but I'm disciplining myself to just stick with that phrase. Da, 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 da. And there was something at the end, my mind wanted to do it, but my body, like that would be some practice material there. I think it was something with the symbol that I did. I'm like, oh, like I could be a little better at that idea. So that would go into my practice regimen, maybe getting some reps there. But do you see how just taking these rhythmic blocks and doing a lot more with a lot less, that's really the key.
On some of the singles, you know, you kind of doubled up a little bit there, you know, so it's like bop, 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 bop.
Right? Da, 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 da. Exactly. And yeah, I had some ideas I really liked there. Notice I used dynamics, right? Go, 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 go. And it started to become something. I was only working with that one phrase, but seeing what I could do around the kit. That might turn into a fill. So I'd recommend that for you, Jono, like really, yeah, just take one little block of that or put two together and just see if you can create like a little solo out of that, and just pay attention to what happens. Like, wow, I like that idea. Oh, I got to work on that one. And just seeing what kind of happens. And that's how we get to that place of freedom.
On your theme of simple solo, I saw a YouTube video, this female drum teacher, and she says, I'm going to do a, they're playing grooves, I'm going to do a solo, but and I forget, but it was just basically like, I'm going to play, that's going to be the solo each time. But
yes.
Just change these things and change the voicing a little bit. But it was just 3 or 4 notes for a bar.
Right.
And it worked. It's not going to win awards or anything. It's not going to wow people, but it fit. It worked. It sounded musical. Everybody liked it.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And that's fantastic, Tom. That's exactly the spirit, is like doing more with less. And so do you notice that was the rhythm part, but also the practice where you could like sneak that into, I could just be driving my car and taka-ta-ta, taka-taka-ta-ta, taka-taka-ta-ta, and sing the rhythms and just know each one. And Dom, that'll help you with like, once you get really, you go deep with those blocks, combining them into grooves and singing them, eventually you realize like you start to hear them and like it starts to become clear in what you're hearing. Like it takes time to click. I remember I had this CEO guy in the LTR drumming community once, and he would fly back and forth from Argentina to Toronto, like a private jet. And those were the 2 business locations, and he had to be in, to constantly go back and forth, right? And he said, yeah, I was taking Spanish lessons and like listening to these tapes and taking, I had like a tutor, and I'm trying to learn Spanish because I have to go back and forth to Argentina, but it just wasn't clicking, and I'm kind of using the book all the time. And he said, one day I just realized I was thinking in Spanish. I think he said, then I had a dream in Spanish. He's like, whoa, what happened? It snuck up on him. Just like, did I just think in Spanish? Whoa. So that's what'll happen over time, is like when you approach rhythm in this way, like in this simple way, but just going deep on these things, it'll like, it just, one day it's like, I just get it. I can, and it simplifies and everything just clears, right? So I hope we got some wins today with like Ethos. That's like tapping into your mighty why, like what Clark said, being a little kid. The flow. What I was going to say, Tom, with you is, I know you were mentioning getting around the kit. A big thing is just like, you have the feet, even just keeping time and getting used to going around the kit. So I have this groove, just as an example, I have this groove I play that I made up, but I struggle with it. So let me play it for you. You may have heard this before. You may have heard that before. I wrote that groove, but I was struggling with really getting it at a level that I wanted. And I realized it was because of this. I'm on the cross stick, notice, and I'm on the bell, and my feet. So I had to pick it apart. And we've done this in the group. We call this mechanics. It's like, what are just my feet doing? So I just air drummed it. Everybody can do this with any groove that you're struggling with. Just play the hands in the air and see what's going on with the feet. So what I was doing, so I noticed pa-pa, pa-pa-pa, pa-pa. So everybody kind of try that. Pa-pa. If you're at just level 1, just try to get the gist of it. If you've been playing for longer, you might get closer to that phrase, the challenge. Pa, pa, pa. Pa, pa. Pa, pa, pa. So I had to just sit, feel that in my core center, get my balance. Now, the next part of it was I realized my balance little challenge, because notice to get to the bell, I got to go a little bit further. And to get to the cross stick, I'm not in my normal, when I groove like that, I'm a little, you know, my hand is laying against the drum to get the cross stick. And then I'm on my bell, I'm a little further while I'm doing that foot thing. So I think, Tom, I think you're going to find the same challenge. Part of it is like when my body's here to get to Tom 2 on the floor, Tom, like it's different than being here. Your body has to learn where center is and where that balance is. And that's why part of flow, you saw in the flow section, balance in the feet and your core center is such a big part of this, because drummers struggle with that. You know, they might have fast hands, but their balance is off.
I'd like your opinion on this, Chris. My drum throne does not swivel at all, so there's tremendous friction here. If I want to move, do you think a swiveling drum throne that swivels would be helpful, or?
Try it. Mine does not swivel either.
Okay.
It's more about like hip rotation. Yeah. And sometimes it can be like, you know, it's like a golf swing or like a punch. Like sometimes you got to feel it in a different muscle, and you're going to get into real simple exercises. Like Clark, we were doing, remember the drum set warm up stuff where it could be like I'll get you on some of these exercises, Tom, when we meet. But it looks really boring, but it's stuff like this, like maybe get the feet going, you know, and then right hand, or so I'm just going in different shapes, but I've got to feel my hip rotate when I'm here, just like an athlete would. Like, okay, it's, you know, I saw this video of, I've shared this with a lot of people in the group, but Tom Brady working, like Tom Brady, you know, like multi-championship, and he's working on his swing, he's practicing, like still at the top of his game. And his coach was like, I want to see this muscle here engage when you snap it. And he's like, is it like that? No, you don't have it yet. It's too much shoulder. And he's like this. And he goes, yeah, well, that was it right there. I want you to feel this muscle here. Something like that. And awesome, Dom, you rock. We'll see you soon, okay?
Awesome.
Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, so we call that MTA, muscle target awareness. So some of that, Tom, is just going to be simple exercises. You rock, Clark. We'll see you soon. We're wrapping up. It's okay. Go all day with this drumming stuff. But I think, Tom, that will be it. It's just simple getting the reps in, right? So like your feet are going and just, oh, it's in the hips. There it is. And that's what helped me with the groove I just shared you. But I was like, why isn't this coming together? What's wrong? And then I figured out, I'm like, oh, it's just this like slight little balance thing. Like, oh, if I practice, okay, there it is. And then once I got the balance, it all clicked. So it can, you know, if it's a mystery, it can drive you nuts. But once
the feet definitely adds a layer to it.
Yeah,
it does, but it's a big layer.
100%. Excellent. So excellent. So let's put your hands up, everybody. This is a big win. And we got, you know, quick wins in each area: ethos, rhythm, practice, and flow. You know, so and of course we go deeper on this if you want to be a part of the community. I know we got two new guys on there. Just let's meet. Any questions today? Just before we sign off today.
Can I just add something really quick?
Yeah, W. James.
It's not really a question, but I'll try to make this short.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate being a part of today. And there have been a lot of things going on in my life. But as far as drumming, something's really clicking about the philosophy of life through rhythm and your course and all that, and what's been happening in my life lately. I guess the biggest thing that's been happening in my life that I've been trying to do, not just with drumming, but with everything, started with my back, is keeping things fluid rather than jagged. Not so much just with movement, but with everything. Like, say there's another thing going on in a department at work. How can I make that a little bit more? What can I do to make that a little bit more fluid? You know,
I
for
love
me
that.
and for them, just how it's all connected, I guess.
Yes.
And to me, I think there's little glimpses of eternity that present themselves, if that makes any sense.
100%. Yes, very much so.
And you've been a lot about don't think about it, but just feel it. And I think there's something in that place. I'm not into any martial arts, or I was going to do Tai Chi at one time, but I came up with this thing. I'm not sure what that means, but just as far as the I know there's a lot of dead space in what I'm saying, but I really feel good about today. And thank you for letting me be a part of this group. I can see pulling the trigger with getting more involved, and the mystery of all of these things and how they all connect is, I guess it's resonating really strong right now. So thank you. Thanks for listening and letting me share that little piece. Hopefully it made some sense.
Thank you, my friend. It made 100% sense. Yeah, W. James, I hear you. And you can see, we call it a totem, these things that bring you confidence and remind you of the best within you. So I got my water bottle here, and it's from Bruce Lee, and it says, "Be water, my friend, flow." And the type of drummers we are is the type of people we are. And drumming is life, and life is drumming. So I exactly hear what you mean. And I find the better I flow in life and just go with what I can't control and flow with it, it affects my drumming, and vice versa. When I do it here, I just accept it, go with it. I'm better in life. And we've got some people here that have been in the community a while, like Kelly, Tom, Karima, Andrew, even you've been here a while, or a little bit at least. Do you have any feedback for W. James on that? It's a great observation. Just in maybe how maybe that might resonate with you.
Well,
Go ahead, Karima.
well, I think with the whole like what we were looking at, like flow and practice and the ethos, like I think you can carry that into your other areas of life, like you're saying, work, and it's it's kind of useful for everything in your life, and that's all I want to say.
Yeah, excellent, bang on. Yeah, I felt that for years, and I just love sharing that with people in the community. It really does make a big difference. What do you think, Kelly?
Well, I'll share a little bit with the community. I joined with Chris about 3 months ago, and I'm 58, and I had big dreams of being a drummer, but I always never really took action. And I'm the same way. When I did some research online, and I decided instead of trying to practice, and I come from a history of, and I'm not ashamed of it, as I come from a history of alcoholism and drug addiction, and I always used to pretend and practice and pretend that I was a drummer, and never really took it seriously. And then when I researched a lot of drum schools and stuff, and then when I met Chris for the very first time on our 45-minute in like conversation, it just his spirit and the camaraderie we had just convinced me that this is the right fit for me. I'm 58, and it's given me such an inspiration for myself. I raced professional motocross for many years, and then life just caught up with me, and I was looking for an out to try to really gain some. I lost a daughter at age 17 in 2018, and I I've dedicated this whole experience to her, and as you can see, my totem is behind me, and that's the very first drum set I bought her when she was 5 years old, and I've dedicated this whole journey to her, and it's all about just life, you know, and it can being a part of a community. And just sharing we all go through struggles, we all have ups and downs and rounds, but being a part of a community that you can share this with is so cool, you know. If and being able to be vulnerable and share your experience, strength, and hope with each other, just to make each day better. So I'm proud to be a part of this. I took the launch to do it, and I worked really hard to be able to do it, and I'm proud that I'm an active member of the Connect X now, and yeah, I'm enjoying this journey. Takes a lot to do it, and I'm just excited for you all.
We're blessed to have you, Kelly.
Bless Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
And the strength of this community is who's in it. It's way beyond me. It's taken on a life of its own, and the power is the people here. So I want to thank everybody here for just having the courage to show up, to stay in the arena, to be vulnerable, to strive to get better every day. You are being watched by all those people around you. I know, Karima, you're inspiring your nephew, Naeem, you know, he's watching you. You know, people are watching us. How I know, Kelly, you inspire people in your community. When we show up and we strive to be our best selves through drumming, and we're using drumming as our vehicle, like you said, W. James, it's like it's all connected. It's serving something higher, and people notice, and they, you know, it unlocks doors in their lives, and it's just a very powerful thing we're doing here. So that's why the power of this community is the people in it. And that's why drumming, to take it back to right where we started, that ethos, it's something, this is something, we're tapping into something way bigger than ourselves. And there's an African word called Ubuntu. Can everybody say that? That's fun to say. Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
It's just you can play that on the drums. Ubuntu. Ubuntu. And it means, what's that?
You spell that.
It's like I put it in the book, a little mini chapter on it. It's an awesome concept. They use it in sports. They use it in a lot of different areas. It's Ebuntu, Ubuntu. And it means the best in me ignites the best within others. So the community benefits from me striving to be my best, and I benefit from the strength of the community. I go to a place through synergy, 1 + 1 = 3, that I couldn't have went to myself. And we don't want to lone wolf it. You just don't want to. That's just the death of your progression in drumming. Isolation is the enemy of excellence. So as we all come together to improve, just like Kelly said, you know, look at Dom. He just had he got what do you say? It was like last night he got fired from his band, and he's here just leaning into that took some courage to. I'll bet you he didn't really want to talk about that, but the group kind of uplifted him. So and I get better every time I'm with all of you. So this is a powerful thing. Drumming has been around for thousands of years. This is a very, you notice if you go into synagogues and monasteries and churches, there's drums there. Drums is our way to connect to the deeper power within us and the deeper power out there as we come together. So yeah, that's what it's about. Let's keep going. Let's get 1% better every day. Put up your hands one more time, everybody. So I'm here to help you on 2024. We'll get more specific with like exercises for those areas. And I like that I hope everybody got some clarity where we rated ourselves and where we're doing really good and where we can improve, because everything helps. One area helps the other to develop our focus, confidence, and self-expression. So let's keep at it. Contact me if you need any help. I'm here for you. We'll do this again real soon. And you guys rock. I'll see you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys.
Yeah.